in Arabic, is there a concept of politically correct language or politically incorrect language?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, professionally, you can't call somebody غبي, as an example. غبي is an equivalent to stupid or idiot.
Okay. What about terms for religious people, ethnic groups, that sort of thing? Are there words that you wouldn't use professionally that do get used?
I haven't witnessed many words used, as I don't work heavily within Arabic society. But does it really happen in Arabic countries? You need to question somebody that work in Arabic countries, really.
Okay. What do you call the original inhabitants of America in Arabic?
الهنود الحمر.
Okay. What does that literally translate as?
الهنود is Indian and حمر is red, the red Indians.
So that's politically incorrect. Is there a new term for those people, or people still say هنود الأحمر and it's normal?
If I had الهنود الحمر, I would still think it's normal. I don't see why it's not normal.
Well,
they're not really Indians, though. Like, we understand that they are not Indians.
Okay.
And they have nothing to do with red.
So why do you call them Red Indians?
It's just the name that they were called, you know?
Yeah, well, that's a literal translation of an English name given to them that's now considered inappropriate. But I'm saying Arabic might be behind if they're still using that term.
I can't really say whether they're still using it or not. Although I know that I still use it.
I guess it doesn't happen that commonly for maybe Native Americans don't visit the Arab world, or it's not likely to cause a problem. But in America, the main language is now English, and you wouldn't say Red Indian, you would say Native American. I mean, what is the... Let's translate that literally. What is the word for native?
الأصليين.
Okay. Yeah, the original.
الأمريكيون الأصليون.
There you go.
Maybe that's used now. I hope so.
You can start it off.
I can start it off, yes. Native Americans. Do the Native Americans get offended if they are called Red Indians?
I think some do. Maybe some do, some don't. But it's not considered politically correct.
Why were they called the Red Indians?
Because compared to the white man's skin, they thought they had a red complexion, and Christopher Columbus thought that he was sailing west to reach India. He didn't know that there was another continent in the way.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
So here are some of the inappropriate words that Stanford University has banned. And these are culturally inappropriate. So don't say chief, don't call a person a chief. Instead, use their name. Calling a non-Indigenous person chief trivializes both the hereditary and elected chiefs in Indigenous communities. Calling an Indigenous person chief is a slur. Okay. Guru. Don't call people a guru. Sometimes if someone is an expert in something, they'll say, oh, he's a computer guru. He knows all about computers. Mm-hmm. Instead, you should say expert or primary leader. In the Buddhist and Hindu tradition, the word is a sign of respect. Using it casually negates its original value.
Is this taught in schools nowadays?
Well, this is the Stanford University who have made this decision to ban this type of language.
How long ago was it made?
Recently.
Okay, so has it been effective? Has it been used?
I think they're implementing it. You're not allowed to say on the warpath. Instead, you should say mad or on the offensive. You're not meant to call someone brave. Don't use that. There's not even an alternative given. This perpetuates the stereotype that the noble, courageous, savage, equating the indigenous male as being less than a man.
But look, to be honest, I don't agree with that. You could call someone brave, but maybe the new term that people are discussing nowadays is man enough.
Okay, well here comes some man enough phrases for you. This is in the gender-based section. Look, there's so many words.
Okay.
Gender. Instead of saying chairman or chairwoman, say chairperson. Instead of saying fireman or firemen, say firefighters, because some of them
are female as well.
Female,
okay,
or gender neutral. Don't say guys, say folks, people, or everyone. Don't say ladies, say everyone.
So you don't say ladies and gentlemen anymore?
No, you say everyone or folks.
But everyone and folks is not professional. Can you be on a standing on a conference and saying everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, rather than you say ladies and gentlemen, you say everyone? That's not professional. Doesn't sound professional. Dear everyone.
Dear everyone. Don't say mankind. Instead, say people, humankind, or human beings. What's the Arabic for mankind? Insan or Bani Adam?
Bani Adam.
So what's insan?
Insan is human.
Is that plural or is that singular? Nas, the people.
Nas is the people, yes. Insan is just one person.
And what's ins?
Okay, insan comes from the word, I think, wanas. Wanas as in joyous. So people need people to live together. They can't live alone.
Okay.
So the insan needs other people, nas, to live together.
I heard it comes from forgetful.
Nasiyan.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's what I'm saying. I might be wrong here, but I thought insan come from al-unsa.
Could be both. Here's the imprecise language section. Don't say American. Say US citizen. This term often refers to people from the United States only, thereby insinuating that the US is the most important country in the Americas, which is actually made up of 42 countries. So when we say American, we think of the US, but Canada, Mexico, Brazil, North America, South America, they're all technically part of the Americas.
Would that be the same as when you call somebody British? And if he's not born here in England, can he say I'm British? I'm a UK citizen.
I don't know. In most Arab countries, a foreigner means someone from outside the Arab world. Is that correct? So if you're in Yemen and you meet someone from Iraq, you won't say he's a foreigner.
No, because they have the language that brings them all together. So they feel like they're all under the same umbrella if they speak.
Okay, but an Australian in the UK is still, they are a foreigner, but I suppose we wouldn't use that term as quickly as we would for someone from a country that speaks another language.
I guess it's different from culture to other culture. What is a foreigner, isn't it?
So is a Moroccan in Oman a foreigner? He's from thousands of miles away.
I don't know what the people of Oman would say to Moroccan, but I don't think they will call them foreigners. They will talk to them as Arabs, even though some are Amazigh, not Arabs. I mean, not all of them.
And what is the Arabic word for foreigner?
Ajnabi.
What's the root from? Is that from next beside
Beside, yeah, Jahanab.
Someone from beside. They call the Iranians Ajami.
Ajami is definitely someone that does not speak the language, yes.
And that's a foreigner that doesn't speak. That comes from
Ajami.
not being able to speak the language.
Yeah.
Is that a polite word? Is it rude? Is it normal?
I don't see it being rude, to be honest. Look, something interesting here, right? In the Gulf, the terms Ajnabi can also be referred to someone who's an Arab. So in the Gulf is a different standard than what happens in Yemen, for example.
So Gulf Arabs might call someone from outside the Gulf Ajnabi, a foreigner.
That's correct. So a Yemeni lives in Saudi would be called Ajnabi and will be treated as Ajnabi. Yeah, they will have different rights, everything it will be different.
What is the Arabic word for immigrant?
لاجئ.
Is that not refugee?
لاجئ. Immigrant. مهاجر. Sorry.
Okay, muhajir.
Muhajir is immigrant.
In English, there are what we call immigrants and what we call expats, expatriates.
Mm-hmm.
And something people have noticed that typically white immigrants that go and live abroad are called expats, Brits living in Spain and elsewhere, but non-white immigrants that come to live here or go elsewhere are called immigrants. Is there a difference? Are there any other words for immigrant other than what did you say, muhajir?
Muhajir. Yeah, there is another word. I can't remember what's expat.
So laja is refugee.
Laja, yeah, when someone seeks help, is laja.
Mm-hmm. And muhajir is someone who is made hijrah.
Made hijrah, left the country to start somewhere fresh, somewhere new, not necessarily seeking help.
In the religious tradition, al-Muhajirun were the people that emigrated to Africa, is that right?
To Al-Habasha, yes. Sorry, I think so. Yeah.
And they were rivals with the Ansar.
That's true, yes.
And who are the Ansar? Are the helpers?
Yes, the Ansar are the helpers.
That's interesting.
So, I think religiously, hijrah is allowed because it's all the land of God, okay? And if your living in one country is not going well, maybe your expertise will be more beneficial somewhere else in a different land. You'll make more money, you'll be more beneficial, and you'll have a better life. That's where you make hijrah, to make better earning, but to find a better lifestyle. That's where hijrah is allowed.
Would you say it's encouraged?
I wouldn't say encouraged, but I would say the options are there if you need to. I think what's encouraged depends on the person, really. What's encouraged religiously possibly would be somewhere that you feel or you call home, where you don't feel you're being challenged to practice your religion and be who you are.
Okay, well, here's one last thing that you shouldn't say. Don't say to kill two birds with one stone. Have you heard that expression?
Yeah.
Get two things done at once. Instead, say accomplishing two things at once. People don't want to be reminded of cruelty to animals.
Why not? I can agree with that. I don't mind changing the terms of kill accomplish. But remember that people, this is a university level, okay? Not everybody will use that terms. The common people on the street, they don't say accomplish. You don't hear those terms.
That's true.
Unless if you're highly educated.
I'm sure in Arabic there are some idioms that if you translate them literally into English, people will say, oh, that's offensive.
Even if you write an article sometimes, or even just a small tweet or in Facebook, and you write it in Arabic, it can be translated in English and it means very offensive, So you have to check the translation.
Yeah, we can lose a lot in translation.